Hey everyone, Peter Does Photography here, and today we're going to talk about the Canon 50mm 1.8. So why is the Canon 50mm 1.8 such a sought after lens? I mean, for a start, it is tiny. It's made of plastic. The old one used to be made of 100% plastic. However, this new updated model has a metal mount, as you can see just there. There is a reason why every photographer should carry the 1.8 50mm. If you can afford the 50mm 1.2 from Canon, then obviously go with that. It is going to yield some better quality pictures. However, the 1.8 from Canon, it starts about £129. You can pick them up used for about £80. It's a no-brainer. It fits in your kit bag with very little space being used up. So this ties into a question that everybody asks as a beginner photographer: which lens should I buy? Now, you could go from cheap kit lenses all the way to Canon's expensive L glass. This sits somewhere near the more budget end, as it is about £129 as I mentioned. However, being such a wide aperture lens, that means the aperture is nice and wide, letting lots and lots of light in. It means you get a very nice blurry background to your photos. So for portraits, it's an absolutely cracking lens to chuck on the camera. As I mentioned, it's fairly small. This is a crop sensor camera, so it is a fairly small body. Chuck that on there and you can see the footprint it has on the camera. There's hardly anything there. Now, one thing to point out with a crop sensor camera, chucking this lens on a crop sensor is going to be about an 80mm lens, whereas throwing it on a full frame body like the 1DX is then going to be a true 50mm. So as you can see, it does fit on a full frame camera. You can see this being the 1DX. It looks tiny. It looks like a little pancake lens on this camera. However, I would not be ashamed of rocking up to a shoot, banging off some photos with this little lens. A quick size comparison here, you can see this is the 24-105L lens, and you can see this little stubby pancake lens right next to it. It's a fairly simple lens. All you have on the side is the autofocus, just AF or manual mode, the little red button there, and that's about it. It isn't image stabilized, so you are going to have to obviously keep that shutter speed fairly high to stop any motion blur with the photo. So who is this lens aimed at? So personally, I think it's aimed at the more beginner amateur photographer. However, it doesn't matter if you're beginner, professional. If you are a professional, you maybe have the 1.2 version of this already, which is fine. You don't need the 1.8. However, if you don't have a 50mm prime lens and you're looking to pick one up pretty cheap, this is an absolutely fantastic way to go. So if you're one of the people who love that beautiful bokeh, nice fluffy background, it's great for that, especially because it makes everything really pleasing. So you can think of this as the one and done for a cheap prime lens, simply because it covers that 50mm. It's a nice natural look to the eye as well. Beautiful for portraits. Again, it's very light, you don't even know it's on there. As you can see, this is a photo taken by the 50mm 1.8. You can see how crispy the foreground is and how blown out and blurry the background is. It just really looks pleasing, professional. It just looks nice. If you enjoy taking gig photos, then again, this is a great kit to have. Having that 1.8 aperture lets a lot of light in. Typically, shows are pretty dark, so being able to let a lot of light in is going to make your photos look a lot cleaner. As they say, brighter pixels are sharper pixels. Just in case anybody had noticed, I'm wearing the Sam Newton Stay Creamy turtleneck. It's an absolutely cracking fit, as you can see. This being one of the first 300. I do have the little sign plaque. Hold on. I mean, look at that. Look at that. He's even drew a little smiley face on it. If you're a professional or even a beginner amateur photographer, whatever your skill level, if you haven't messed around with one of these, I highly suggest picking one up. As I mentioned, you can pick them up used. It's just good to throw in your kit bag if you need a 1.8 aperture very quickly and you don't need a lot of weight. Okay, that's it from me guys, just a quick one there, just showing you around the nifty 50 1.8 50mm by Canon. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe and ring that bell to watch future videos. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.